Aloha, everyone. My name is Rob Hack. I'm from the Hawaii Pacific Export Council, often called by the HPEC, and I'm a volunteer on a board of directors. We have approximately 30 directors on our nonprofit board, and we are a quasi offshoot of the U.S. Department of Commerce. And it is our to help Hawaii companies export. And to be clear, exporting is to a foreign country. Exporting is not from one of our Hawaiian islands to another. It's not to the mainland, but it is to Canada, Japan, Germany, Brazil, and the like. Today, I'm excited because we've been doing this program for past 4 or 5 years, but even before the pandemic, where we bring in Hawaii Department of Agriculture staff to talk about exporting of agricultural products, and they can explain in much better detail than I can about what is constitutes an agricultural product from Hawaii. But I know that it obviously is vegetables, but also it includes cookies and alcohol and these types of things. So before we get started today, I'd like to thank very much DBEDT and SBA, who, through their generous grant to the Hawaii Pacific Export Council, we are able to put on this series of webinars and also do one-on-one company mentoring sessions with any companies who are interested in exporting. And so with that, I'd like to introduce Jamie Lum. She's the International Program Manager at DBEDT, and she'll say a few words about the overall HiSTEP program. Jamie, please.
Thank you, Rob. I'll share my screen. Seeing my first slide.
Yes.
Yeah. Aloha, everyone, and thank you for joining us today at this webinar on exporting agricultural products from Hawaii. I'm Jamie Lum with the Department of Business, Economic Development, and Tourism, and we are the agency that administers, as Rob mentioned, we receive funding from the Small Business Administration for what is known as the State Trade Expansion Program at the national level, STEP, and in Hawaii we've branded this as Hawaii State Trade Expansion Program, or HiSTEP. Actually, before I continue, first I want to just take a minute and congratulate Rob and the Hawaii Pacific Export Council. They received a distinguished honor as they were named by the Department of Commerce as the District Export Council of the Year. And there are 61 of them across the US. And so this is really a great honor for the state of Hawaii. So just want to thank Rob and Dave Erdman, who's the chair, and all of the members of the council that work together with us on HiSTEP and beyond that. So congratulations again. So HiSTEP, as we already said, is funded primarily through a grant that we received from SBA. And we work with many partners, and we've put up the logos of our partner organizations, and I see several that have also joined us today. Some of the people from the SBDC I've seen, and I thought I saw Hazel from SBA, so shout out to Hazel. And then, of course, we also work with HPEC and with the Hawaii Department of Agriculture, and they'll go into more details about some of the trade shows that they do. But altogether, this is a program that is intended to help companies, whether you're a new to export company or a company that's already been exporting, that's looking to expand. And it's an export development program. So what we really want to do is expand Hawaii, the sale of Hawaii-made products and services worldwide. And so we have three integrated components to the program. We have our export readiness. We have our market entry and expansion activities, and we have company assistance. And I'll go into a little bit more detail on those three components in just a minute. But I'll talk about first, as I said, metrics that we're looking for with the program. We're looking to expand the amount of exports of Hawaii-made goods and services, as well as the dollar value of those exports. That's number one. Secondly, we want to see a larger number of Hawaii companies that are selling globally. And last, we want to see more penetration of the global markets with Hawaii-produced goods and services. To be eligible for the program, you have to, the minimum qualifications, you have to meet the federal definition of an eligible small business concern, which means you have to be a small business. You have to meet that definition, the SBA's definition of a small business. You have to be in business for not less than a year. You have to certify that you have resources available to be able to export. And then you have to have a product or service that is at least 51% US made. In Hawaii, we do look to help companies that meet that with the 51% of being Hawaii made. We give that a priority. But at the national level, it has to be 51% US made. Secondly, you have to certify that you're not barred from receiving federal funds. And then you must be a company that's registered with both DCCA and our Hawaii State Department of Taxation. So just to talk a little bit, and I don't want to take up too much time, but export readiness, this program that you're attending right now, this is part of our export readiness program. We work with HPEC to put on a series of export training sessions. They cover various range of export related topics, as well as sessions that discuss specific markets, exporting to Japan, or we have one that's going to be coming up, exporting to the Philippines. So these are intended to give information to companies, particularly if you're a company that doesn't have an export plan, and maybe these are things that you can help to build an export plan. And then actually Rob will do a session in a couple of months on writing an export plan, which is really an excellent session that he walks companies through. So export readiness training sessions, and then we have one-on-one business advising. And this is where our partner organizations play a very large role in meeting with companies. So when you register, then we assign you to one of our partners, and then you'll have at least one session to talk with one of the business advisors about basically what are your export goals and where are you at? Are you a company that's brand new? Are you a company that has some experience? And then they can help talk you through a little bit more about where you're at, and then possibly what activities within HiSTEP, or maybe it might not even be part of HiSTEP, maybe some other actions you can take to help further your export goals. So that's part of export readiness. Then we have our market entry and expansion activities. These would include trade shows, consumer shows, and then we're also looking to expand to some e-commerce platforms and helping companies that want to sell more online. And this is an area that we do work with the Department of Agriculture. They do organize some of the trade shows under HiSTEP. Usually what we do is we subsidize the majority of the costs for the trade show, and then we recruit companies to be a part of the Hawaii Pavilion. And we found that it's a way to make it affordable for companies to exhibit in these very large trade shows, and then also to be part of the overall Hawaii brand. Companies do also find an advantage to that as well. So, and then lastly, our company assistance, companies can actually apply for funding assistance based on an export plan that they have to present as part of their application process. It is a competitive process, so there is an evaluation committee that reviews the applications. And the timing on this normally is we put these applications out in November, and then they're due in early February. So, I'm sorry, early January. And that's so that companies can have, a good portion of the calendar year to be able to carry out their activities. So I will send, just to let you know, I'll send, you'll get a copy of my slides, but it will be, they'll have more detail in it on each of the components. So I'm just trying to give you sort of a high level summary of our program. This is our website right here, invest.hawaii.gov. And if you could go under the exporting tab, you'll see the information on HiSTEP. So this is where you can register if you're interested. That's the first step to fill out the registration. And this just kind of shows you what happens when you register. As I mentioned, we assign you to one of our partner organizations, and then you'll meet with them. And then you can move on to other activities that you feel may be appropriate for your company. So that's really a quick summary, and there's my email. As I said, I will send, you'll get a copy of these slides, a more detailed copy, but that's just a quick, dirty overview, and I'm available for questions, or you can always email me with questions. So thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Jamie. Excellent presentation. Before we get to the Department of Agriculture team, there's one question that came in, and I think we'll just answer it quickly. It says, does the HiSTEP program match producers with export distributors directly?
I guess the short answer is no. But through the activities that you participate in, you have the opportunity to meet some. But I should say we are trying to gather more of those kinds of that type of information and work a little bit more closely with companies. But in the past, we haven't done that directly. But we can try to help if people have questions.
I would also add that it's certainly available to work with the U.S. Commercial Service on their Gold Key service, and they can be very helpful with finding distributors for you in different markets. And I can help you meet the U.S. Commercial Service in Hawaii. Is the name of the guy is John Holman. I'll send that around to the attendees. He's actually by statute on the executive board of the Hawaii Pacific Export Council, so we can introduce you there easily. And then, of course, all the trade shows that HDOA attends, there's distributors coming to those shows and looking for people there. So let me just say, if we're going to jump into the HDOA team now, but if there's any questions, save them for the end. You can type them into the Q&A. Many of you know me already. You can text them to me, email me your questions also, but I think it's probably most efficient to just type them into the Q&A. However, if you don't want your name attached to the question, then feel free to email it to me, and I'll ask the question anonymously. Also, just to be clear, Jamie's slides from DBEDT and then the HDOA slides, I'll be sending those around later once I have edited this video and uploaded it to our YouTube archive. I'll send around an email that has a link to a Dropbox folder where you can access PDFs of the presentations, and then a link to the archive of this video. Okay, so with that, let me jump over to the Hawaii Department of Agriculture team and introduce Brendan Akamu. He is the branch manager, and we'll also be hearing from project managers Yukashi Smith and Karen Sir. And again, type in your questions and we'll have a thorough Q&A at the end. So please, Brendan, go ahead. And
Aloha. Good afternoon. Thank you, Rob. Aloha and good afternoon. The Hawaii Department of Agriculture is very excited to participate and share our information. Most of you may think of the Department of Agriculture as our regulation side of the business, see our inspectors at the airport, our animal quarantine, but we are actually the marketing branch, and we actually offer opportunities for you, your businesses, to learn and to actually participate in export missions and export trade shows in different countries. Although this is much about international, we do also cover a few domestic continental US shows, and we'll talk about those as well. I have a great team that makes the market department here, and the first person that you'll meet will be Yukashi Smith.
Thank you, Brandon. And hello, everybody. I am Yukashi Smith, Economic Development Specialist at Hawaii Department of Agriculture. I've been working for the HDOA for the last 16 years. I've been managing branded program called Hawaii Zero Quality, and we do administer grants. And also I'm doing a lot of export activities. My primary market is Japan, because I was born and raised in Japan, that makes sense. And also Korea and a little bit ASEAN market as well. And I really enjoy working with HPEC, Rob, and DBEDT folks, Jamie, and other people. Thank you for this opportunity. And another, my team is Karen Sir.
Aloha, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Karen Sir, and I have been associated with the Hawaii Department of Agriculture Market Development Branch for about 4 years, but I did go on hiatus, and I am just recently back. So I have helped to manage the Made in Hawaii with Aloha program in the past, and I just returned from Go Food, which we'll talk about later, as well as some more domestic trade shows, which just returned from Chicago yesterday, actually, yesterday afternoon. So we'll turn it back to everyone. So we'll meet you again later.
Great, thank you. I hope you had a good introduction to our team and what we have put together for you. Let me get our slide presentation, and we will begin. All right, I'm going to have Yukashi come back up, and she'll start through the presentation. We will rotate through Karen and through myself as different programs pop up on your screen. And as Rob said, toward the end or during the presentation, if you have questions, you can send it through on the chat.
Okay, hello again. Today we are talking about HDOA sponsored export programs and activities in 2024 and 2025. So this is the list of trade shows we will be managing and having a Hawaii Pavilion in the international and domestic trade shows. We have different funding sources to conduct this Hawaii Pavilion, but mostly thanks to the DBEDT and SBA, HiSTEP grant is our primary funding source for having a Hawaii Pavilion in international trade shows. So we have three trade shows internationally. Annually we are doing. We did already 2 trade shows in 2024, Gulfood and FoodX. But we have upcoming international trade shows in September, and Brendan is going to talk about Fine Food Australia trade show. Thank you.
So an experience that we want to share with you in 2023 was our first return to Fine Food Australia since 2019. And it was a great show. As you can see here, It's the nation's only established trade show dedicated to all food things, from food service to distributors, hospitality, catering, retail, and bakery. Fine Food Australia is the unparalleled vehicle for uniting the industry with vendors from across the world in an opportunity to reignite business conversations, innovations, face-to-face connections with quality Australian decision makers. So this is a great opportunity that is here. This coming year, the show is September 2nd through the 6th of 2024. It's in Melbourne, Australia. And this year, the show is celebrating 40 years of having the show in existence. The show does alternate every year between Sydney, Australia, and Melbourne, Australia. This year it is Melbourne, Australia, and as many of you may not know, that is the actual capital of the country of Australia. Just an example of what the show does offer for us. So this is a profile from 2023. We did not have any vendors that participated with us. So the Department of Agriculture presented and represented many different brands of products that we have. We tried to take a sampling, but they do give us an exhibitor profile, which we talked about. The Hawaii Department of Agriculture promotes the exporting and facilitating of growth for existing and new agricultural commodities, including value-added products through its Made in Hawaii with Aloha program and its Grown in Hawaii branding programs, along with its Seal of Quality branding. We ensure genuine Hawaii-grown or Hawaii-made premium products, which are guaranteed and certified by the state of Hawaii. An example of the product listing that we did this past year, and on the bottom right is a picture of our booth display that we had. But we had categories from Hawaiian chocolate to Hawaiian coffee, jellies and jams, papayas, cookies and crackers. So that's the categories that we chose to look for interested buyers for these products. And as they approached the booth and talked to us, we actually had a product information request sheet that they could fill out. They could give us their business card. We'd attach it to the program. We'll match it to vendors in Hawaii. We also had an opportunity scanning their badges and collecting the data. So we just wanted to kind of share some of the opportunities that are there. We are looking for companies that are interested in going to Australia this September. So we, at the end, we'll have our website that you can contact us. I will now bring Karen back and she'll talk about Gulf Food.
Hello, everyone. So Gulf Food is the largest food show in the Middle East, drawing buyers and sellers from around the world. And actually, we are very grateful to be able to work with Jamie at DBED and under the market entry and expansion activities component that she mentioned earlier. And that provides our small local companies with the opportunity to use STEP grants in order to, in their quest to export and broaden their market exposure. And so, as we were mentioning earlier, the question about in-country distributors, et cetera, the beauty of working with DBED this year and in the past is that when we go to Gulf Food, we actually were able to fund an in-country contractor who had representatives from both Saudi Arabia and the UAE to help work individually with each of our companies that you can see here. There were 4 companies that were represented this year at Gulf Food in February. And so that was the beauty of that is after the show, during the show, before the show, during the show, and even after the show, they were working directly with this in-country contractor to meet and greet and make contacts in the countries. As you can see on the Geisha company or Geisha Coffee, Doug actually, while he was on premises in Gulf Food, he was able to translate into Arabic his main flyer so that more people could engage with him in their language, but most people do speak English. We also had the opportunity to meet with Ambassador Strong at the National Day, as well as Deputy Consul General Tanimura, who has local Hawaii ties, at USA Night. And then our companies were actually featured twice in the chef demonstration that you can see on the top corner, because we were able to utilize, the chefs would actually take our ingredients like the fresh papaya or the Okinawan purple sweet potato or our Molokai sea salt, and then basically blend it together in a spur of the moment recipe item and then feature the products and draw people's attention. In addition, we were able to participate in the International Culinary Arts Academy, where they had chef trainees from around the world as well. So that was a really wonderful opportunity. So if you're interested in exporting. Now, keep in mind, even though it's in the Middle East and it is the largest food show in the Middle East, because of the location, it draws both buyers and sellers from all around the world. Asia, Europe, everywhere is represented. And not everything is halal, even though, of course, it's really great to be halal or gluten-free or what have you. But there are many opportunities regardless of what your product might be. And then I'm going to turn this over to Yukashi again when she can talk a little bit more about FoodX.
Thank you, Karen. So the FoodX Japan is the Asia's largest food and beverage show. So not just Japan, but also Korea, Taiwan, other Asian countries. The buyers are coming to see the products, looking for new products, looking to meet new suppliers from different regions. So this is a very, very good show, and Hawaii has been proven success with this show, with the sales and connection and the presence for long years. As long as I remember, we started this show like 2000, like maybe 10 years ago, and we kind of evolved the size of the Hawaii pavilion. And thanks again to DBEDT, like last year, the last 2 years, HDOA and DBEDT are jointly conducting this FoodX show. So because of that STEP funding, we are able to expand our Hawaii pavilion, the size, and then the number of companies participating. So this photo shows the front of our pavilion. If you can see Maui. So in the front of our pavilion, we demonstrated and showcased a lot of Maui products to promote Maui manufacturers and food producers. And how we do conduct the Hawaii Pavilion at FoodX Japan is very unique. We work with many in-country importers and Japanese representatives, as well as Hawaii companies. So we have a very mixed products, food and beverage, including coffee, of course, our #1 export products from Hawaii to Japan, and alcohol beverage as well. I mean, we have beer, wine, spirits, and that attracted a lot of crowds to our booth. So FoodX Japan, again, is going to be scheduled for March 11 and 14, 2025, Tokyo, Japan. If you are interested, please contact us as soon as possible. It takes a little bit work to even enter the Japan to just display your products at the trade show. So those are the international trade shows we talked about. And now we are going to domestic trade shows. There are 2 trade shows. We are also having a Hawaii pavilion in the domestic trade shows. Even these are domestic. We have many foreign buyers are coming to this show. Therefore, federal government allows us to use federal funding to subsidize the booth fees in these trade shows. So the first one is National Restaurant Association show in Chicago. So Karen Sir will be talking about this show.
Thank you, Yukashi. So hot off the press. Well, we were very excited, and actually our companies that joined us this year were super excited of participating in the Taste of the States. So this is a Taste of the States is like the USA Pavilion within the NASDA umbrella at the National Restaurant Association show. And the beauty of A Taste of the States is, as you can see, there's chef demonstrations. And so let's just take a little brief overview here. As you can see, we had 4 companies that joined us. No, everyone is familiar with No Foods, but 3 of the other 3 companies were brand new to the NRA show at A Taste of the States. And that would be 2 from the Big Island, Likolipua Butter and Kipuka Mills. And then from Maui, we had Maui Fruit Jewels. And what was really awesome about it is you can see Maui Fruit Jewels, her face tells it all. Lynn is there, she's able to speak while the Chef Rick is doing the demonstration with her purees, and he's making food with her puree at the top of his hat. He did sauces with Tahitian lime butter from Likolihua, and he did that with catfish from another state. They did it with Berkshire pork from another state, and you can see how excited our vendors were to be featured with the chef demonstrations, which happened all week, basically. And so that was really exciting. They also were able to participate, as Yukashi and Brendan were mentioning, with foreign buyers. So NASA also brought in foreign buyers, and so they had the opportunity to opt in to participate in what they often call speed dating, which is basically a rotation of the buyers to their booths, which have been somewhat vetted, so that they're kind of matched to whatever their product and their market expansion goals are. And they learned a lot from those meet and greets that were basically in speed dating style. So we got a lot of good feedback from them as it was their first time. And in addition to that, you can see the display, everyone is sampling, and this is a very large international show as well, even though it's in Chicago. The next domestic, let's see, I'm gonna hit the slide to the next show. The next show is the Global Produce and Floral Show. Now, this one has not yet happened. It is scheduled for October 17 to 19 in Atlanta, Georgia. And I'm sorry, I don't know what you just said.
Looking for people.
Oh, yeah, I have that on the script. So the Global Produce and Floral Show was better known as PMA, or the Produce Marketing Association show, way back when, and it rotates. So this year it's in Atlanta, Georgia. Last year it was in Anaheim, California, and next year it's in Florida. But it also goes to Louisiana as well as to Nevada. This particular year, in October 17th through 19th, we're actively seeking companies who are interested in broadening their markets and expanding elsewhere. Let me see here. If you would like more information, their general website is www.freshproduce.com. And here you'll see the pictures from last year. And they had a beautiful Hawaii pavilion, as you can see, with awesome signage and great representation from companies from different islands. And now I'm going to go bring back Yukashi, as she's going to cover some more information about our export assistance.
It's
Is it the internet?
we're not on the internet. We're on the laptop. Just click on this slide. See if we can add a tonic. There you go.
Oh, sorry about that. Hi again. So now I would like to talk about another funding source from USDA. So Hawaii Department of Agriculture has access to the federal funding called MAP, Market Access Program, through Western United States Agricultural Trade Association. It's called USATA. So USATA represents west side of the US, and there is another, there are 3 other trade regional state regional trade group. Yeah, SRTG. So USATA represents West, and there are Midwest, Northeast, and South region group, trade group exists, and they get direct funding from USDA called MAP program. And Hawaii is a member state for USATA, and we have access to some part of the $8 million annually USATA is receiving. USATA is a nonprofit organization, and they are administering those funding. So with USATA funding, what we are doing activities are different kind of export activities. So when we bring buyers from foreign countries, Hawaii companies don't have to travel to the market, but you can meet foreign buyers in the state of Hawaii. So this is very economic way to meet potential buyers in your state. It's called inbound buyer admissions. And outbound trade missions is the other way we bring US companies to the foreign market. And you will be meeting with the potential buyers in the foreign market, and you can get market briefing from the US embassy staff, and you'll be participating market tours and facility tours to be familiar with the market. It's a really good, like a 4 or 5 day trade mission. That's called outbound mission. And also you can be part of the international trade shows. You can have your own space in the US pavilion. So as you can see the photo, you have a United States America, those signage in USA, and you have access to the USA lounge that they provide breakfast or like soft drinks throughout the trade show period. And so that's trade shows, and we developed virtual trade missions during the COVID. Using Zoom, that's another way to meet with potential buyers without traveling. And Fund Match program is individual financial assistance program. So if you participate in any those outbound missions or international trade shows, you can request reimbursement for those export marketing cost. Up to 50% of your cost will be reimbursed. So if you go to the international trade shows, like you use $8,000 for the booth fee and $3,000 for the airfare, $1,500 your hotel fee. Those are eligible to claim reimbursement. 50% of the reimbursement is eligible. But I just want to let you know that you have to document everything, and it's a lot of paperwork involved, but still it's worth to try to get 50% subsidies from the federal government. And USATA also does a bunch of educational seminars for different country markets. So once you signed up the USATA, you will get all the information that you can be part of that. To participate in the USATA program, the qualification is at least 51% US origin content by weight, excluding water and package. That's your product eligibility. So the difference between USATA Pavilion and Hawaii Pavilion, your products must be made in Hawaii. But this is a US federal grant program. USATA program, you can just have a US origin, 50% of US origin. That's the qualification. So for more information, please go to usata.org, and there are a lot of resources. You can watch the video, how to market your products. There are many resources available. But I would like to talk about some upcoming USATA events in 2024 that Karen and I are project managers. So we prepared this project like 2 years ago, make a proposal, and get the funding, and we put a lot of work already. So I hope, Hawaii companies take advantage of this opportunity. So the first events, upcoming events in 2024 is Korea and Taiwan consumer-oriented inbound mission, scheduled for July 15 and 16. So this is an inbound mission, which means we bring 5 buyers from Korea and 5 buyers from Taiwan. Will be here in Hawaii, actually the Foreign Trade Zone conference room on July 15 and 16. So all you can do is sign up through Osaka website and come to the meeting and be meeting with 5 buyers from Korea and 5 buyers from Taiwan in one day. So you can sign up either 15 or 16, and you can meet 10 buyers in one day. So this is a very good opportunity for Hawaii companies without traveling to Korea or Taiwan. And outbound trade mission to Japan is scheduled for September 16 and 20. And so this outbound mission takes US companies to Tokyo for 2 days and Osaka for 2 days. And this is an annual outbound mission we are doing, and it's very popular. We only have 12 spots available. So when the announcement is published, I encourage everybody to sign up as soon as possible. Otherwise, you're going to be on the wait list. So, and the next mission is outbound missions to Taiwan, and Karen Star will be managing. Karen, you want to talk about this? Taiwan.
Okay. Hello, again. So the outbound mission to Taiwan is intended to be occurring from September 9th to the 13th. And we'll have buyers from Kaohsiung and Taipei. And our outbound mission means we fly out to Taiwan, and we'll be meeting with those 2 main cities with buyers, as well as going on market tours. And so we will be traveling to the 2 different cities. So it might be a little hectic for travel, but it will be well worth everyone's while to participate. So when that opens up for registration, please feel free to check that out. And then I'm going to turn it back over to Brendan. Hold on for 1 moment.
So in closing, we just want to, we've given you a lot of information today. But if you take a look at your screen, if you want to take a picture of some of the contacts up there. So the first contact is WUSADA. And to do the WUSADA activities, you do need to be a WUSADA member. So you'll get the information there. That is their website on the top there. You can also contact our office, Yukashi, Karen, or myself. We can guide you through there. For the other programs that we have, they're all available on the HDOA website. We have our website listed at the bottom. So we're always available. Send us an email, give us a phone call, and we will guide you accordingly, or we can answer any questions that you have. But we have some fantastic opportunities that we offer, and a lot of it is really from DBED, from the HiSTEP program, and WUSADA really that funds our program so that we can bring it out to you to travel, get your business to market. So again, we say mahalo nui loa for joining us today. We'll turn this back over to Rob.
Great, thank you. Great team effort on the presentation. It was really clear and lots of fantastic content. So there are a bunch of questions. There's one right away here on, I'm going to read it verbatim. What are the key agricultural products currently being exported from Hawaii through HiSTEP, and how has demand for these products evolved in recent years? Probably Yukashi. If she's been doing this for 16 years, she has a good idea of what's changed. And
Yes, actually, there are a lot of changes I've seen, especially after the COVID. So we are doing really well, of course. Our top agricultural products export to the world is coffee, macadamia nuts, snacks, condiments, sauces, alcohol, beverages, but export is very tricky. The importers is your partner. So even though you enter the market, you find the importer, and importers still have to sell their end users. So the sales pitch continues. And after the COVID, there are so many personnel change, business change, from your manufacturer production change. So I see a lot of connection has to be rebuilt from square one. So that's what I'm seeing when I go to the FoodX this year. Not many same buyers are coming. They're actually really young people are coming. So the building relationship with the new company, new personnel is really what I'm seeing right now.
Great. One more question. Can you highlight any success stories or notable achievements in terms of expanding Hawaii's agricultural exports to new markets or increasing market share in existing markets?
Yeah, the success stories. We have some success stories to share. Yeah, but the coffee companies. We've heard a lot of coffee companies. Manufacturing companies. Yeah, it's really hard to pick one, but recently.
About two different.
Okay, yeah. We just have a. Karen just came back from the show and she just had the newest success story with her.
Oh, okay, so, well, let's see, but that was Winter Fancy Foods, and we really literally just came back from the Taste of the States, right, from Chicago. And Maui Fruit Jewels was ecstatic and quite over the moon from participating in the oops, sorry.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
the Winter
no.
Fancy Food Show?
Yeah. No,
Oh, sorry, the
company
company name. Okay, so sorry, we might not have been instructed to advise of the success story, but one of the companies was approached by a distributor at one of these trade shows that recently happened and did not even know how this evolved, but their purpose was to promote tropical foods in general. And so they selected this company with their tropical fruit preserved type products to participate in their I guess gala. And so they received a whole bunch of orders that they didn't expect, but that was all driven by that distributor relationship that they met at the food show. And then I would like to share another success story because I think the success story is driven by the fact that, as Yukashi mentioned, many of these activities, it takes years to build relationships. And I also want to emphasize that a lot of it is a learning experience. So, for example, the companies that joined us at NRA, for example, 3 of them were brand new and they learned so much from just participating in the event. Well, way back during COVID, I was working with Wosada, and we did the first virtual trade mission on Zoom, where we were working with local companies, and then we were doing our meet and greets on Zoom with the buyers in Taiwan. So we worked with an in-country contractor, and we shipped samples over to that particular country, which was Taiwan. They had a huge ballroom. All of the samples were laid out in one middle table. All of the buyers had their own little cubicle around the ballroom. And as they were being zoomed in on the meet and greet, and all of our vendors, now can you imagine, half of them didn't even know how to use Zoom or a computer or the light ring or anything. It was all a learning experience. And we had one of the companies that I would like to highlight. had a product that was highly reliant upon tourism, and obviously no one was traveling. And she did make that sale to Taiwan, but believe it or not, by being persistent in working with HDOA and all of our other funding sources, 2 years later, I get a call and they're like, oh my goodness, the contractor in Canada was able to place her products on an end cap in New Zealand. And so she was over the moon with that. And that took 2 years in the making, and it wasn't even in the country that she had participated in the mission with. So a lot of it, again, is learning and being patient and really knowing your purpose and what you're seeking in your market and your product line, and then working hard to achieve that goal. So I'll leave it back to whoever is next.
Excellent. So there's a bunch of questions that were emailed to me.
Okay.
Let me get into that. In the pavilions that you have, the various pavilions, how many Hawaii companies can participate?
So that's a good question. So we need to select both selections usually a year in advance. And based on previous years, it just depends on the particular show. So like Yukashi said, I think you had 29 companies to Japan.
So
Foodx, they had 29 available.
but the booth was shared.
And it's a shared booth. Gulf Food this year, we had 4 companies in 2 booths. So it's a shared booth again, to maximize the space and maximize the amount of people that can come. We did the Winter Fancy Food Show in Las Vegas. We had 3 booths there. Again, there's opportunities to share if we can, if it's a right fit of a company, we can fit, but it's anywhere between 3 to 4 booths.
Okay. This question is somewhat related, and maybe Jamie can chime in also. What costs are covered for a company going into a pavilion, and what can a company typically expect to spend when going on one of these trips? Like, what's the total expenditure?
Well, if you are going into one of these Hawaii pavilions, basically the cost of the booth costs, the booth build out costs, those kinds of things. There's some furniture and electricity and some of those things that are provided. Companies have to pay for their own travel, so your own airfare, hotel, and also shipping any products that you need to get over there. Now, remember, these are trade shows; they're not consumer shows, so you don't need to take products. You're not going to be selling products on the floor. So I think some companies that maybe haven't attended before, they think of maybe like our Made in Hawaii festival or something, that you have to have a lot of products. So you would just take samples, and of course your sheets, your line sheets with the costs and so forth. So it really depends, what market it is with the airfare, hotel. And I know right now, if you're going to one of the Japan shows, because of the favorable rate, the hotel rates are pretty good, and those kind of things. So maybe another 5,000 or so. I'm just kind of ballpark.
That's what I would suggest. But I would stress that getting into a subsidized pavilion is way cheaper than trying to do this on your own. If you were trying to get a booth by yourself at Foodx, you're with travel and what have you, I don't think you could do it for less than $20,000 totally. It's really expensive. Okay, that's very helpful. Jamie, you mentioned one thing about taking samples. How is that done in foreign markets with agricultural products? How can companies take samples when some of those products are heavily regulated in terms of bringing them in? or even if it's a mainland show, taking agricultural products from Hawaii to the mainland can be very difficult just as samples. So how does that work?
Maybe Brendan or one of the HDOA people can speak more to the agricultural. I'm thinking, actual produce.
Right.
I mean,
right.
other types of value added foods, of course. You typically would have to work with someone already to help you bring that in, even if it's just for sample.
Yeah, I can just chime in here a little bit. So that's also one of the advantages of coming and joining a Hawaii pavilion or a USA pavilion, is that we as the staff coordinate, because there's a lot of coordination about what can be taken into the countries if you're going to a foreign country, as far as the forums and like going to Gulf food. It's the responsibility of the participant to actually ship their products there, but we'll guide them along as what they need to do. And of course, when you come out of Hawaii, it also needs to meet the USDA agricultural requirements to ship to export. So if they're like papayas, certain countries don't require the treatment, but if you're going to the domestic US, you have to have the papayas treated, the sweet potatoes treated. But we guide you, and that's along the way of the things that you actually need to know about shipping or getting your products there logistically.
And each show has their own.
And yeah, and each show, as Karen just mentioned, each destination is all different. But that's why it's good to go along with us, because we assist with that opportunity for you.
Right, and we as well have a pavilion coordinator that will help companies that don't know, especially first time, and can help guide them to people that can help, if they need somebody to actually help them bring in and do the paperwork, etc. So
Great. Yukashi and Karen mentioned some WUSADA programs that HDOA is working on that are particularly targeted at Korea, Japan, and Taiwan, both outbound and inbound missions. So the question is, what are those countries, in your experience, what are those markets looking for right now in terms of agricultural products from Hawaii?
Yukashi will be there.
Yeah, the Korea, Japan, Taiwan, geographically, Hawaii has advantage, and then they are familiar with Hawaii, and Hawaii, no, the US, they are familiar with the US products, and also they have a high GDP. They are actually afford to buy products from the US. They are looking for the quality. They are looking for the safety in the food. And Japan, especially their population is aging. They are looking for healthy and functional food and safety, and always a specialty food they are looking for. And so the Korea is pretty similar to Japan as well, and Taiwan is very good influenced by Japan as well. But always the buyers go to not those Asian buyers. They always go to different big trade shows, like Gulf Food, CL China, CL Paris. Those, and then they are always looking for new products, unique products, something. But the price point is very important. And Japan and Korea, their currency against US dollars are very weak. So they have to, we have to give some kind of value, the extra value to your products. That's very important. Otherwise, they are easily replace the products with probably European products. So the price is always, it always matters.
What do you think, in your experience, the Hawaii companies, the agricultural products that our Hawaii companies are taking to foreign markets, what are the advantages that we have? Is it the Hawaii name, the made with aloha, the sunshine and the beaches and all of that has a very good image, but does that translate into product sales overseas in agriculture?
Okay, so I know DBEDT does the B2C activities like department store, or made in Hawaii trade kind of festival, the festival show in Japan, and that in those consumer for the general consumer in Japan, they love Hawaii, of course, as it's a very attractive tourist destination. And then if you are relate to those tourism, of course, there is a benefit of it. However, if you wanna just compete in the retailers' shelves, maybe the beaches and rainbow may not be so helpful. You have to have a good quality and good taste. Like those markets are very, very picky about the quality, and then package has to be neat, and the quality assurance is a key. So some months your fruit is very sweet, but other months your fruits are not so sweet. Then I don't think they're gonna continue to buy your fruits. So to the business to business level, I think your products have to be really seriously nice looking and good quality. And I can see some companies are very successful by meeting those standards.
Great. Just a couple more questions. Could you share insights into primary challenges faced by Hawaii's exporters, particularly regarding market access, logistics, or regulatory compliance? Now, of course, we are a bunch of small islands in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, very far from anywhere. Logistics is a problem. That's not a secret, right? Everything that ships from Hawaii has some logistics issues, but I'll let you answer market access and regulatory issues.
It's a consolidator for Japan.
Oh, the logistics of yeah, of course, yeah, and shipping is very challenging, and sometimes the shipping from Hawaii is more expensive and takes longer time than going to mainland. I mean, from the mainland to Japan, despite the distance, right? So and also the exporters, we don't have many packaging options, like especially the beverage companies. We don't have bottling, canning, not too much options available. It is challenging, but logistics, maybe I can ask Brandon because he's expert. Yeah.
But I think we obviously logistics is always a challenge. It's always a question for us. So like for Japan, there is a consolidator here in Hawaii that does consolidate and does shipping. And so those are the connections that we can help introduce as well. There's, because the products, some companies that we deal with, they actually have not a production, but say a warehouse in California. So they also do other consolidations to get their products to market. And that's probably the most feasible or economical way for them to do it. If you have 25 boxes and you get it to a consolidator, it's a lot less expensive than shipping it on your own. But we do, those are some of the challenges. And as far as packaging, people always ask us, how do we ship it? Do we ship a crate, wrap it up with saran wrap? Do we just give empty boxes? And so we assist to kind of guide people of who to talk to as far as a shipper or a consolidator, and then they'll get more information about how they should package their products to actually ship overseas or how they can do it.
Okay, great. This will be the last question. bear with me while I read through it, and probably Jamie can chime in on some of this as well. How does HiSTEP support small and medium-sized businesses in Hawaii to overcome barriers to exporting internationally? And looking ahead, what are the strategic priorities or areas of focus for enhancing the competitiveness and sustainability of Hawaii's exports in the global marketplace? That's a big question. That's probably an advanced business school course, but why don't we take a stab at it and try to answer it?
Well, as far as barriers, I mean, we've been talking about some of the challenges like logistics and those kinds of things. So I think it kind of depends. Those kinds of things we need to look for some creative solutions. And as Brendan said, they've found some companies that can help. So those kinds of things, hopefully we can find solutions to overcome. Now, if you're talking about barriers in terms of tariffs and those kinds of things that countries put forward, then that's something, of course, we have to work with at a national level. Our congressional offices are always in touch with us whenever things are coming up, issues are coming up, to get feedback from us. And then we belong to some of the national organizations that help to lobby for fair trade practices, international trade practices. So, from the state level, we can't do anything on our own. So we do have to work kind of at the federal level. And that's why we also do encourage, companies to work with the U.S. Department of Commerce, because through their Foreign Commercial Service staff and those programs, they can help companies navigate those kinds of challenges as they, pursue certain markets. And then that's why it's also important to look at the market that you want to look at and to see if there are certain barriers. You might want to look for another market that's, has free trade agreements, between the U.S. and whatever market that is, et cetera, to help really facilitate the sale of your product or service in that particular market.
So if I can add in, here's our plug for our WUSADA programs, inbound and outbound. That's an excellent way to learn about the country and what's needed and the requirements, because you actually have the buyers on hand, and the buyers there are very educated on imports, and they can guide you where you need to go or assist you. So again, that's why those missions of inbound and outbound are very helpful that we provide. And so I encourage you, if those are countries that you're interested in, that you should really come and learn about what's there. Karen wants to just say a few words.
Hi, I just wanted to add on the Korea and Taiwan trade mission that's inbound. So if you're, for example, a neighbor island company, right? And you're just flying in and flying out, it's so ideal because it's at the foreign trade zone. But Yukashi didn't mention how much it costs, which was a surprise. It's $25 to participate in this mission. So it's $25 for the Korea buyer inbound mission, and it's $25 for the Taiwan buyer mission. So basically for $50 in one-stop shopping, you're going to meet buyers from 2 countries in one day for $50, not including your airfare if you're flying in. So it's a deal. You should all register. But of course, remember, you have to register if you're a member of WUSADA first, which, by the way, to join WUSADA is also free. So there. Good job.
Good job. Good plug, Karen. Thank you. Anybody else?
No, I think that's it. I'm going to share my screen really quick. No, we're a little over time, so I'll pass on that. What I'd like to do is just wrap this up now and say thank you to our attendees, of course. This was a wonderful session, very informative. Thank you very much to the Hawaii Department of Agriculture team, Brendan, Yukashi, and Karen. Of course, thank you to Jamie from DBEDT for joining and explaining more about the HiSTEP program. And again, thanks to DBEDT and SBA for the funding that allows us to put on these programs and do the one-on-one company mentoring sessions. So as Jamie mentioned, we have some programs coming up. Look at the DBEDT website at invest.hawaii.gov to see the schedule. We have exporting to the Philippines coming up next month, and later in the year is exporting to Taiwan, exporting to Australia and New Zealand, and many other programs to round out the year. So we look forward to seeing you at more of those events in the future. So thanks again for attending. Thanks to our speakers, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Mahalo, everyone.